Hello YouTube and welcome back to the Loose Transistor channel. I'm your host Lucas and today we are kicking off another build and review series. This time we are going to be doing a build and review on the Strictly Racing Drones 5-inch, which is this cool little frame that I've got right here. Before I talk about this, I want to go over a few other things that we're going to be talking about on this video and the upcoming weeks on the channel. The main one being the TVS diodes. So we're going to finally be putting this stuff to the test. A friend of mine that runs a small YouTube channel called Mikey's Lab, I'm going to put a link in the description as well so you can check it out. He is doing the hard data scientific part of the study. He already took some baseline oscope readings of his build with capacitor and without capacitor, and then he's going to be doing some readings with the TVS diode and I believe TVS diode combined with the standard capacitor. So when I do have that data, I'm going to share it with you guys here on the channel as well, and I'll go over talk about it from my perspective, and I'll link it to his channel as well so you guys can see directly from him what he's talking about. So I'm hoping that this TVS thing is actually going to work out and we can knock off this capacitor from my builds, because it doesn't seem to be doing much to me other than being annoying and getting in the way. So let's talk about the build that we're going to be doing, the SRD 5-inch or the Strictly Racing Drones 5-inch. So I'm just going to move the camera here so you guys can see the parts that I've selected for the build and we can go over them real quick. Alright guys, so the Strictly Racing Drones 5-inch, which is this frame that I have right here. I have never flown anything from Strictly Racing Drones, but I checked out their website when I was looking for a new freestyle frame, and I was just really blown away by the simplicity of the frame. So this is the frame itself, and literally all you get is a top plate, the frame, and this is a pretty no-frills top plate, which is what I wanted. And you get a bag with hardware, and it's all black, just like that. So it's kind of like a Ford Model T. You can have any color you like, as long as it's black. And I kind of like that. It's nice and simple. There's really nothing to it other than form following function, which I really like. And that's something that I really liked with the Colombian Carbon Middleman. I thought it was a nice stripped down build. It doesn't require a lot of work on the carbon, and I really like that. So I think this is going to be interesting because all I have to do is put the parts on it, and I like the simplicity of it. I think that's going to be fairly durable. Looking at the carbon itself, the only thing I didn't quite like, and it's maybe just my own OCD, but I'm going to show you guys here. See there? This is the battery straps. They don't quite look centered to me. Now, it might not be too big of a deal. I don't think it really matters, but it looks like everything is shifted down a little bit, maybe a millimeter or two. I think it's better if you guys can see it like that. Okay, anyway. So yeah, it's not quite centered with the V here, and I didn't expect that. And it kind of worries me a little bit to have this cut here. I'm not sure if it's going to weaken the carbon fiber or not, but it seems to have enough material on both other sides here and here that it should compensate. So we'll see. We'll crash it a few times for sure before this is over, so we'll know if this frame is resilient. I don't know anybody who does fly these frames, so if you do fly these frames, the Strictly Racing Drones, leave me a comment and let me know how you like it and what the durability has been like for you. The other thing I noticed on this quad too is that there's a tiny, let's see if I can show you, there's a bit of flex, and I think that is due to the fact that it is one piece of carbon, one sheet. There are no screws going on, so it does tend to bend a little tiny bit. It's not a lot though, but there's definitely a little bit of play. I hope that that doesn't interfere with the tuning of the frame, and maybe it gives it some more durability. I don't know. Maybe sometimes things being a little bit flexible in a crash is better than them being too hard and just breaking off. We will see. I'm hoping that this will tune well. So that pretty much covers it for the frame. So you get the top plate, which is super simple, has a strap for you to mount a camera, or I guess you could run a top mount battery if you wanted to. And it also has straps on the bottom here so you can run a bottom mount battery. So whatever you like to run, you can run on this thing. And it is fairly compact. It's not that big. It's pretty damn small. It's not a true X. It's a bit of like an H sort of proportion going on here, which I haven't really flown much of. I've flown mostly straight X or stretch X, so this will be interesting. I haven't really flown a frame of this configuration before, and I'm hoping this is going to land itself very well to freestyle. Even though this is called a Strictly Racing Drones frame, I am going to be using it mainly for freestyle. If you've been following the channel, you've seen that the Hive bit the dust pretty good. I crashed it into the bog of stench, and I'm pretty much considering the quad a total loss, so we'll see. I'm really sad about it, but now we have a new freestyle frame to build that we're going to be building over the next few days. To control the whole operation, I ended up going with the DYS F4 poker face, I think it is called. And from what I hear, it's very similar in features to the Omnibus F4. Let's come on, focus. There you go. So it's very similar in features to the Omnibus F4, except that it comes with an integrated PDB. So these gold pads you see right here will go out to your ESCs, and on the reverse side of the board, you can also solder them on the reverse side of the board. But this is where you put the power. You also have a current sensor built in and an OSD built in, which uses the Betaflight OSD GUI, which is really nice. I've used it in the past. It's literally the most bulletproof OSD that you can use. You just install it. It's already hooked up. You all have to do is just upload fonts and configure it, and it should be good to go. Come on, focus. Okay. So continuing on with the features, this one has a MPU 6000 gyro, which is good because they tend to be a little bit lower noise. What else? I believe it supports up to 150 amps, which is quite a bit. So it can do 6S, and at least that's what it says on the box. Layout-wise on the board, it seems like everything is like pretty packed in there because they're trying to put so much stuff in there. Everything is really packed in. And if you can see there that glint on all the stuff, I'm pretty sure, 90% sure that is conformal coating. And I think that a lot of the DYS stuff is coming conformal coated already because, well, why not, right? They can probably do it a bit cheaper in the factory, and if people aren't burning their ESCs because they're getting a bit of water on them, then maybe they're more inclined to buy the DYS stuff. So both sides of the board are very, very evenly coated with this stuff. And overall, it looks like the layout is pretty straightforward. There's 2 banks of pins, but nothing is labeled on this board. Like literally nothing is labeled here. There's a few labels on here on the bottom that just really tell you what are these big pads are for and which direction the FC should point to, but it really does not indicate to you what any of these are. So I'm gonna have a fun time looking up wiring diagrams to figure out where they go. Even the back of the box here doesn't tell you what these pins are. So a little bit disappointed, DYS. I really hope that this board would be a little bit better marked and I wouldn't have to dig so much for information, but whatever, it can't be that hard, right? So I guess that's my only bugaboo with it, is that there's no real markings on the board. That can make things a little tiny bit annoying. But other than that, it seems like a pretty legit piece of kit. It's running an F4, so I'm pretty excited to try that out. Powering directly from the FC, I'm going to have the 35 amp Cicada ESC 4-in-1, which is what I've been using on most of my 5-inch, 6-inch builds these days. It's just so much easier to do a build with the 4-in-1s, and honestly, I find that I only really break ESCs when my prop strikes them. So I really think that these are going to be the way to go, at least for me, moving forward. I am going to be using the TVS diode on this guy, and I have the TVS diode right here. There we are. And I was going to use these bobbins too for soft mounting, but one nice thing is that the DYS poker actually comes with gummies. The same types of gummies that you see on the Racefly boards, I believe, except these ones are black. But yeah, little silicone like gummies like that, and I'm going to use these instead because it's going to allow me a shorter stack. So I won't worry about the little red bobbins that I've used before. The red bobbins are good, but I'm just not going to worry about it. So where were we? Yes, the diodes. So TVS diode right here. So we're going to be using this guy across the battery pins on the 4-in-1, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how I'm soldering it when it comes time to do it. But I know it's going to fit just nicely right there, and shouldn't give me any problems. And I'm not going to use a capacitor on this build, I don't think. I'm going to go with just the TVS and see how that compares with my other builds that have that don't have TVS. So that covers the ESC. We already went through the ESC. So the next part of the powertrain would be the motors, and I am using something a little bit different this time. I've never used anything from T-Motor, but what I have here is a set of the F80 2200 kV. So it's a pretty big, beefy motor. These things are heavy as hell. I think that this frame can take it. It's nice and thick, so I don't think that the arms are going to break under the weight, and this is what I was worried about using on the Colombian Carbon Middleman. Figured that this would be too much for the arms and they might snap. For this guy here, I'm not worried. I think that these will be okay. Why did I go with F80? Why such a big motor? Honestly, just because I wanted to try something huge. And I was looking for something with a lot of torque and not a huge amount of kV that I could run some very aggressive props on. I'm looking to run either the DYS Cyclone 50/50s, the tri-blades, or the Racecraft 50/51 tri-blades as well. So that's going to have a lot of thrust, I am hoping, and this will get me the punch outs that I've been looking for. I've gotten very, very close to those punch outs on the Colombian Carbon Middleman though. That thing really rips with the 2206 2300, but I'm still want more oomph. So let's see if this guy doesn't give me the oomph that I've been looking for. And of course, on the video train of this this build, we're going to be using our trusty Foxeer 1177 with the 1.8 lens, which is what I run across all my builds. If you haven't tried 1.8, give it a go. It's a really nice lens. 2.1 is nice too, but I find that the 2.1 tends to distort a little bit more. And the 1.8, although having a bigger field of view, it's called a rectilinear lens, it provides less bubbling than the 2.1s do. So I really love these lenses. This one is a bit dirty. I used it on another build, but whatever, it's still good to go, so we're gonna use it here. And lastly, for the VTX, since this is a freestyle build, I am going with the FX799T 600 milliwatt with a whip. And I've been using these whips a lot lately. I barely even use circular polarized antennas anymore, and I'm really, really liking these. I even had a race and we didn't have problems with crossover or anything like that. A few of the guys were running dipole whips, and it went well. So I'm going to keep using the dipole whips because I like how they perform. Alright guys, so that pretty much covers it in terms of parts for the Strictly Racing Drones 5-inch that I'm going to be building over the next week or so. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of that stuff, and I have some other cool things coming out in the channel as well. One of them being the Saturn Multirotors Titan XS. This guy right here, it was courtesy of Beaver FPV, and this guy here is it's a 3-inch Stretch X. So it's a neat looking little frame. It's all pink, has like a super sweet little canopy for the camera. So I'm going to be doing a build on this guy as well. I'm just waiting on a few parts to arrive. And as soon as we finish the SRD 5-inch, I should probably have all that stuff, so I'll be able to do the 3-inch as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Check back in a few days when we will start actually doing the build for the Strictly Racing Drones 5-inch. Thanks for watching.